So I can't have this selfish mentality of, oh, if you're not benefiting my life, then I can't talk to you, or like, you stay over there. If you have no purpose that's elevating what I'm trying to do, if our purposes don't align, then you have to, you know what I'm saying? I can't have that mentality.
Perfect.
Who's calling me like this, bro? FaceTime? Bro, no caller ID, FaceTime. I'm very confused because he's the only one I told about this. It's a completely different number. Who is this?
Who is this?
Who is this, bro?
Who is this?
Okay.
Hey man, say man, psych. It's reality check, baby. Yeah. Back with another video. It's VT in the building.
You know what I'm saying? Xay Dryz in the cut, man. Say less. We about to do a nice little TikTok reaction, you know what I'm saying? Video Vaughn pulled up. I haven't seen it yet, so we gonna react together.
Right now, Josh Terry. If you guys know the name already, just one of my actual favorite creators and thinkers.
And if you've been on the channel before, you've actually seen him before. So
yeah,
keep up.
Yeah, let's get straight into it.
You're way smarter than you think you are, and way dumber at the same time. You're stupid because you think you can handle more than 3 challenges at the same time. And you don't realize that every time you take on a new project while an old one isn't resolved, it gets exponentially more complicated. But you're brilliant because you can do way more difficult things than you think if you actually get rid of the other stuff and focus on something. Your brilliance is contextual based on the environment you design for yourself. You're way smarter than you.
And to be honest, the last point that he said is so relevant, even beyond what he was talking about in the actual video. Yeah. But just the point of your environment is so influential on the product that you produce.
Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
Fact.
Yes.
Fact.
Yes.
Fact.
On facts. And I love this video because this is one of those tools you can actually implement today, immediately, and you'll actually start to see results in your own life, in your own decision making, in your thought process. If you put yourself in a space surrounded by people, things, a mindset, goals that are driving you in the direction that you want to go in, and you are not the only one doing it, you will get there faster, more efficiently, and with less stress because you're not doing it alone, you don't feel alone, and you actually can lean on other people who understand. So basically, man, if you want to succeed, it is almost just as simple as positioning yourself in the right place to actually grow and flourish. If you position yourself in a place where you can only reach so far, and the people around you are at that level, you can't surpass them.
Now watch this, right? I'm gonna play devil's advocate for the point that he was saying in the video a little bit, because I fully agree to a certain extent, but I also think that it matters the context that you're talking about. So like the whole idea of don't take on
too many projects,
is facts, like facts. But I think he said specifically 2 or 3, I think.
Run that back.
Do you think you can handle more than 3 challenges
more than
at the
3
same time?
So usually I think that has merit, and that's true, especially if you're talking about specific tasks. So if you have, like today, if you have 16 different things that you want to get done, and let's specifically say like, okay, you're writing an essay or something, but then at the same time you're moving away from your desk to go do something else, like 2 or 3 tasks, like over 3 tasks, you're just going to be so mentally not present. So that makes sense. However,
okay, I'm listening.
In the macro, I feel like there are some people, myself included, who I don't want to only do one thing.
Right.
I want to do multiple things. And if somebody was to tell me that I should erase all the other things, particularly if I have more than 3 things that I want to do in life, if I should in order to become great at one thing, then I have to sacrifice the other things, I would have contentions about that, which I understand where it comes from, but I also think that there is something to be said about understanding if you have talents in multiple areas,
right,
and if you have love and desires in multiple areas and applying yourself in multiple areas,
right.
I just think it's a balance thing too, because I just think that you can get into the don't spread yourself too thin thing, because if you're trying to do 16 different things at the same time with all deadlines and stuff, like, it's going to be very complicated for you to deal with. But I mean, if you look at some of the most wealthy people, they have their hands in different avenues. Like, I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is seen like in random stores with his cardboard cutout beside an office chair. Like, he's doing a random thing. Like, different people have been writing books, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like it just depends on the context.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the devil's advocate as well, just because too much of one thing becomes bad. And just the point that he made in the video, let's just say, for argument's sake, you're watching this video, you're doing school, you're doing sport, or music, or something that you're passionate about, let's just call that 2, and you're doing a third, which is like working, right? Let's just say that's a very like reasonable schedule.
Right.
People in that boat, you tell me, how hard is it? Let us know. Like, actually, how hard is it?
I mean, I had somebody in my university class, she was working at the airport, and she was like falling asleep in class, bro.
It's tough. And so when you start to add like projects, as if like saying, okay, you want to be that go-getter, you want to actually explore these new gifts that you kind of like finally found confidence actually taking action in. Okay, yes, let's do it. When you sit down and you say that to yourself, make a plan. Do you have the time for it? Is this something that you can actually facilitate with your energy? If you're tired and you're already sleeping at school, is this probably a good idea to start a podcast? I'm not saying don't start a podcast, but maybe this is not the right time, right? So when talking about focus and splitting that focus, you have to know yourself very well.
I was gonna ask, like, can is that something that can be built? Like, is that
absolutely?
Because people say, like, okay, if in this video, if you have a desire to, I want to do multiple things, but I just I'm having difficulty doing all of them. Probably the most common advice would be time management, right?
Yeah.
However, I just feel like there's certain people that just are not made to be able to do all those things at once. Like, some people just don't have the energy. Some people just don't have the mental capacity to do it. Some people don't have the emotional capacity to do it. Some people are just never, like, they are just not built to do more than 1 or 2 things like that. Yeah. So, like, is beyond time management, because time management is really a tool to accomplish certain goals, but like beyond that, is there a way to develop capacity, I guess?
How you can build this is trust with yourself. Having yourself be like, okay, I said I was gonna do this at this time, I'm gonna do it. When you do that, you build self-discipline and accountability with yourself. And I feel like sometimes we can neglect our own time. I'm gonna say that again. Sometimes I feel like we neglect our own time, and I say that because we may be serving or doing other things for other people, and not giving enough time or allowing yourself to have the energy for yourself in those projects, in those spaces, in those recovery times that you do need, and you know you need it. So I think I would start with something where you're actually being accountable to someone, if not yourself, someone else. Where you actually are being accountable, you're being disciplined, small steps, and you're teaching yourself what it is like to be disciplined just for yourself. That way you can actually move forward with, okay, now I have the capacity to do this. Why? Because I've practiced it. Okay, I feel comfortable here. Okay, I'm gonna take actual steps to making those more disciplined. Whatever the small steps are for you, until you make action, until that becomes normal, you have to become uncomfortable. But first you have to become good with yourself. You have to believe in yourself in a way where nobody's gonna stop you, because let me tell you, the road is hard, and this is in any field. You see it, if you like what the results are, go out, find it, pick it up. I feel like a lot of it is like, oh, that won't happen. It's too out there to message this person. It's too out there.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? You stay in the same position. You try it. Move on.
And you know, the interesting thing about this conversation is that, especially when talking about environment, because while the environment conversation is true, and you want to be constantly putting yourself in environments where you're around other people that also want to grow and that kind of thing, and putting yourself in environments that are intellectually stimulating and all these kind of stuff, it also comes to a point where, for one, it's inevitable that at one point or another in your life, it's not going to be that for whatever reason. Like, there's things that you can't control. You're just not always going to be in that situation. So, and two, for people like me, for example, who I think that a big purpose in my life is to help others. And like it or not, like, I can't, like, in a perfect world, right? If I become successful, if I become all these great things or whatever, and then my goal is to help people, I can't still only have the mentality of, oh, I can only be around certain people, because then I'm not going to be able to elevate other people. You know what I'm trying to say? So I can't have this selfish mentality of, oh, if you're not benefiting my life, then I can't talk to you, or like, you stay over there. If you have no purpose that's elevating what I'm trying to do, if our purposes don't align, then you have to, you know what I'm saying? I can't have that mentality. So it's like, I feel it, for me anyways, I can't speak to other people, but for me, I think that I need to work on more having that accountability with myself, because then if I have it with myself, then I can go in any environment that I choose to and still have that intrinsically in myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I guess it still goes back to, like, how do you build
and that exactly. And I was just about to say, and I appreciate that point, because I thought about this point this week. I was seeing my relationships and my friendships and my interactions, and how sometimes like just that interaction with that person recently, a stranger, beautiful conversation, right? And I'm in my head, we're having this conversation at a party, bro, I'm just sitting there just like this, having a civil conversation,
right,
just chilling, and I'm saying sometimes, and don't get me wrong, don't twist my words here, but party, whatever, it could be a park, but sometimes you have to put yourself in positions you wouldn't normally be in to help other people. And that conversation was a blessing to me, because I'm still thinking about it, just like a random phenomenal conversation with a random individual human I've never met in my entire life until this moment. That for me is, I love that. That gives me a sense of life and just like hope, and just so many positive things that goes along the lines of humanity.
Yes.
That is phenomenal. When you can sit down with somebody and separate yourself from your achievements is mad. And it comes down to humility, I feel like, at that point.
It's humility, like you just said, and I think it's also just knowing yourself. Because, as you said, you have to, I mean, if that's your goal, to help people, you have to put yourself in situations where you might not normally be in. But then you also have to know yourself to know if you can handle being in that environment. Without being influenced yourself,
without compromising yourself.
Right, exactly. Because there's some people who may be able to go into certain situations and they're still themselves and they're influencing other people, whereas some other people may have had whatever type of experiences where if they're in that exact same situation, they might be influenced being in that situation. So it's, and I heard this too, where it's like I constantly hear this where it's like I'll be in friendships, for example, and this individual who I'm friends with is just a particularly difficult person to deal with.
Fair.
And then so my other friends now will be like, yo, why don't you cut her off, bro? Like you don't need her draining your mental da, 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 da. And fair enough, like I understand, yo, you don't need to be spending all this time. But it's like, if I consider myself to be one of the most patient people, right? So I think objectively I have more patience than the average person.
Yes.
So my thought process is, if I can't be patient with this person,
fair.
you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be putting it on myself, but I feel like I have low-key an obligation, especially if they're already my friend.
Especially if they're already a friend. And you know what? I feel that. I feel that, especially because I feel like I'm a positive individual, and I feel like obviously you're a positive individual as well. When we have friends or meet people that are not positive and actually are in fact negative in just how they think naturally, doesn't inherently make that relationship null and void. To me, and I have a few friends that are like that, and we kind of challenge each other in the sense of how they think, and then I challenge them with how I think. Through that process, we learn. I learn, and I learn how to actually deal with people who in the actual world who I don't have no clue who they are. But just from talking to somebody who's completely different from me and actually getting to understand and know them and grow with them, I can now go into the world and be like, I can relate.
Yeah.
Right? Or I can have conversations around something that I completely have no idea about, but I can pull from with my friends that are in that world. So don't even think of it as, oh, this person's holding you down. Why don't you learn about this individual and learn to actually learn for who they are? That, like, I'll play devil's advocate with that as well. The other side to that is, you have to know yourself, as Sam said, because if you get close to fire, it will burn you.
Right.
That's just how it is.
Fact.
So you have to know yourself in the sense of, okay, who am I aligning myself with? Am I the one influencing, or am I being influenced? Right. When you can answer those questions truthfully and honestly with yourself, then you know where you stand. At that point, you can be like, okay, is this hurting me or is this aiding me?
Yeah. I think that's like the dichotomy that I have to, that like I'm currently improving at, because I'll say it like this. It's like, if just for clarity's sake, right? I'm giving an analogy. If for you're trying to help people, right? Yeah. And the way or the location that you have to do it in is a bar. It just happens to be. Yeah. You have to know yourself in the way of, can I go to the bar and help people and leave and I'm still the same? Or am I a recovering alcoholic to where if I go in a bar, I'm gonna be like
tempted?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you have to know if you personally can handle the environment. Yes. And then based on that understanding, then you can do whatever it is that you need to do.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And with that, you have another episode with us, man. Reality check, guess the check. Every time. Comment down below what your thoughts are on this. Agreements, disagreements, thoughts, tangents, whatever it is. Let us know what you want to see next. Love you guys. Have a blessed rest of your day. It's VT and
Xay Dryz
in the building. Take it easy.
We out.
Peace.